All right. Hey, everybody. What's up? It is Hutch here, and we're going to be doing basketball statistics today to practice our measures of center and looking at means and box plots and dot plots and all that kind of statistics stuff. But we'll do it in a fun way here, especially if you're in school. If you're out of school, maybe a little bit less fun, but you're going to get the idea of everything. So let's head right here. We have some stats here of basketball players. These are single game highest number of points. Okay. Not sure of the date on this data to know if some of these stats are beaten by now, but anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. So what is the maximum? We know max is the biggest, so you can look through there and see that the maximum is 100. What's the min or the minimum? So I see 63. Is there anything less than 63? I don't think so. So it looks like the min is 63. In order to find the median, remember median is the middle, we are going to have to sort these. Okay, so let's go ahead and right on the top here, we can go ahead and sort them from least to greatest. So we have a 63. I'm going to mark it off here. I have another 63, and we'll put commas between them. And we have another 63. All right, let's see. We got a 64. And mark it off so we don't miss it. Let's see, any other 60s? Yep, we have a 69. Michael Jordan. We have a 70. Devin Booker. We have 71s, two 71s. All right, we have a, oops, I missed a 68. So let's move this data down a little bit. There we go. That's why we cross it off. It helps catch stuff like that. All right, and then we got a 73. And we have an 81 and a 100. Okay. All right. In order to find the middle, remember this is where we cross things off. We go one small, one high, 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 one small, one high. These are our center ones. Okay. And so we take the average of those, which is going to be 69 and a half. Okay. What is the range? Okay. Range is max minus the min. They want to know the range of all the data. So 100 minus 63, if we pull out Desmos just to make sure we're not making any silly mistakes, 100 minus 63 is 37. Okay, what is the mode? The one that appears most often. Let's see, we have two 71s, but we have 63, 63, 63. So 63 is the most common. All right, now we have upper quartile, lower quartile, interquartile range, all that stuff. So this gets us into the box plots and things like that. They're telling us to use the data to make a box plot anyway. So let's go ahead and start creating that together. So I'm going to remind you some of this. It's something you've done in 6th grade, but maybe you don't remember it, haven't mastered it yet. So basically, they're called quartiles because every section of the box plot, if I have a box plot here, something like this, okay, every section, this is 25% or a quarter of the data, okay? And so the first quartile is here, second quartile, third quartile, and fourth quartile. Okay, and so when we're talking about quartiles, we're talking about splitting the data into quarters. Okay, and so this means that it would be the middle or what we call the median, right? Okay, and then we have data here, and so the first quartile is actually the middle of that data or the median, and same with here. Okay, and so that's the overall of how you make a box and whisker plot. When we're talking about the interquartile range, we're talking about the inner, okay, quartiles, okay, and their range. So what's this span from here to here? That's what the IQR is. Okay, and then we understand the mean and mean absolute deviation. So let's go ahead and gather this data. So it says what is the upper quartile, lower quartile, and so on. To figure that out, we have to first identify where the median is, and we know the median is right here. Okay, so here's the median. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and label that so we're being careful about what's going on here. And then the quartiles are formed by finding the median of the far right. Okay, so it sort of looks like this, really. Okay, so here's the first part, what we're looking at here. Okay, so we cross off, cross off, cross off, cross off, and then we're down to these two again. So what's in between 71 and 73? Well, 72 is. Okay, so 72 creates that part of the box. Okay, so the upper quartile is what we call 72, and the lower is going to be the middle on this end. So cross off on the right, left and right, and then in between 63 and 64, there's our other quartile. So that's 63.5. Okay. All right, so that's basically how you create the box and whisker plot, and then you just do this line out to 100 and this line out to 63, and that's your box plot. Okay, so what's the range? Okay, well, we're going to take our upper quartile. We want to know the range of the box, basically. So we have our 72 minus 63.5, and we get a range of 8.5, okay, which isn't that big, okay. What is the mean of our data? Well, we know to find the mean, we are going to have to add up all the data, divide by how many points of data there are. So we have 63 times 3, okay, and then we have plus 64, plus 68, plus 69, plus 70, plus 71, plus 71, plus 73, being really careful here, plus 81, and plus 100. So we have 856. I'm going to hit enter on that. And then we take our answer, and we're going to divide by how many pieces of data there are. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of data. So divide by 12, and our mean, or our average, is 71.3. Okay, I sort of want to double check that and just make sure we're good with this. So 63 times 3, okay, order of operations should be good with that. So we still have the same thing. Plus 64, plus 68, 69, 70, 71. I have two of those, a 73, an 81, and a 100. Okay, and I have 12 pieces of data, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 and 6 is 12. All right, so we have 71.3 or 71 and 1/3. We're going to just do 71.3 with the 3 repeating. Okay, is the mean. Okay, it's pretty close to the median. The mean is brought up a little bit. I mean, look at the data. Why do you think the mean is just a little bit higher than the median? What number is pulling it to the right a little bit? Okay, because think about they're saying that the mean is actually at 71.3. So it's the mean's here. Why is it pulling it from here to here? Well, if you thought because of this number, you're right. That 100 pulls the mean up. So a lot of times when we have an outlier like that, the median is a little bit more accurate. Okay, so what is the mean absolute deviation for this one? How far is all the data away from the mean? Well, let's go ahead and calculate that. For the purpose of ease with this, let's go ahead and we'll just pretend the mean is 71, okay? Because we're still going to get a good idea about the mean absolute deviation without worrying about that 3/10 of a point, Okay. All right. So if our mean is 71, how far away is all the data from the mean? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and think about it. Let's clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of all this stuff here. Okay. So how far away is all our data from the mean? Oops, I guess I don't want to get rid of all that stuff. We'll just get rid of this, some of our other marks here. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good there. Okay, sort of cleaned up. There we go. Okay, so how far is everything from the mean? We're saying the mean is 71. Okay, so right here. Okay, so we have 0 away and 0 away. 71, this is 2 away. So let's see. 71 minus 81 is 10 away. And I know it says negative 10, but remember we're doing absolute. Okay, mean absolute, meaning absolute value. And then we have, if we backspace this and put our 100, you can see 29 away. Backspace. Our 70 is only 1 away. 69 is 2 away. 68 is 3 away. Our 64 is 7 away. Our 63 is 8 away. Our 63 is 8 away and 8 away. Okay, so that's how far our data is away from our mean. Let's go ahead and add up all those distances away from the mean. So we have 8 times 3 plus 7. Order of operations, we'll do the 8 times 3 first. Plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. We don't need to do the plus 0 plus 0. Plus 2 plus 10 and plus 29. Okay, we need to go ahead and take all that answer and divide it by how many pieces of data there were. And remember, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces of data. Okay, so the average distance away from the mean is 6.5 points. Okay, so we have 6.5. Okay, so what kind of variation is that? Remember, anything above 1 or 2, we've called high variation or high variability. Okay, it means that in general, most of the data, our data is pretty spread out from the mean. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and create that box plot. Now that we have all those numbers, it's really pretty quick to pull this off. Okay, so here we go. Create a box plot. We start with the median, and the median is 69.5. Okay, so we're going to look at our numbers here, and we have 68, 69 is right here, okay, for our median. And we won't worry, the little 69.5 you won't be able to see very much. So let's go ahead and we'll create our line going straight down. Let me just clear this stuff here. There we go, we'll start fresh. Okay, so there's our median of 69.5. Okay, now we need to go ahead and go to our upper quartile, which is 72. Okay, so I'm going to draw the line straight down at 72 first, and then we can go ahead and connect the dots. Okay, let's get our lower quartile, which is 63.5. So we'll just 62, 63, so about right there. It's not going to be perfect. Okay, so there's that. Let me clean that up just a little bit. There we go. Just trying to get it nice so you can try to do the same. Okay, so there's our lower quartile. And then all you do is draw big whiskers. That's why they call them box and whisker plots sometimes, to your highest and your lowest. Okay, so we're going to go all the way out to 100, which is right there, and you just put a point. And then we're going to go all the way down to our lowest, which was 63. Okay. because we had 63.5, the 63 is going to be really small there. Okay, all right. So there's all of our information, and here is our box and whisker plot. Okay, and so what you can see when you analyze this is it asks us these questions. Where's 25% of the data? Okay, well, 25% of the data falls between, okay, and 50% of the data falls between blank and blank. Okay, so when we're talking about the data, I just sort of want you to see where these pieces are. Okay, and so each of these sections is 25% of the data. So let's go ahead and label that right here. Okay, and so 50% of the data, you could say, falls between your upper and lower quartiles or things like that. Okay, but what that shows us is that we have the first 25% of the data, okay, is really close together. Okay, and the second and third 25% of the data is pretty close together, but this third 25% of the data is really, really spread out, okay, when we're talking about medians, okay? And so that tells us that there's probably an outlier in there, okay, because most of it is clumped on the left side of our box and whisker plot, okay? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this box and whisker plot and answer the questions now. Okay, so where's the median? And this is nice because you can just see it. The median is right here at 19. Okay, what's the maximum? Well, we can see that right here. It looks like it's at 24.5. The minimum, the small is min. We can see right here, it looks like it's at 14. The lower quartile, okay, is this first spot, okay, and that's at 17. The upper quartile is this spot right here, the upper part of the box, which is at 21. And then it says 25% of the data falls between. Okay, so just remember here, we have the data, each section is 25%. Okay, and so we'll just label it on here instead of down there. Okay, so where's 50% of the data? Well, 50% of the data would be right here. Okay, but it also is here. You know, there's lots of different sections that would count as 50% of the data. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next part. And this is the sort of activity part here that if you're absent, you're going to have to do on your own in a solo version. We're going to be in class doing this either inside with the scrap paper or going outside if it's nice and doing it with actual basketballs. So let's go ahead and take a look and I'll walk you through what you're going to be doing today to practice this on your own. So we're going to gather your own data. You're by yourself doing this solo, so you're just going to grab 12 pieces of scrap paper, or if you happen to have a little basketball and your own basketball hoop or whatever, you can do that. But basically, this means you're taking 12 shots, okay? And so we're going to see how many times you can make the shot, okay? Actually, I'm going to change that for you because that's sort of designed for partners. So if you're doing this by yourself at home, we're going to do 6 pieces of scrap paper, okay? Because you're going to, like it says here, attempt to make 6 baskets, okay? And then we'll go ahead and record that. Now, because you don't have a whole class, okay, you're going to need to do this trial of trying to shoot 6 times. Let's say that you do this trial, we got to pick a number here, because in class we're going to have quite a bit of data. We're going to have over 30 pieces of data. So that would be you shooting over 100 times, which might be a little bit much. But maybe you at least try to do it 10 different times and see what your data looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead and say that to set this up, okay, instead of using this space here, okay, why don't you just go straight down to here to record your data, okay, and we're going to have you shoot 6 shots, okay, but we want you to do that for 10 trials. So you're going to do 6 shots, see how many baskets you made. You're going to do 6 shots again, see how many baskets you made. You're going to do 6 shots again, see how many baskets you made, and you're going to do that 10 times. Okay, and then go ahead and record your number down. So in 6 shots, if you only made it twice, you would put a little tally there for 2 times. If you did another 6 shots and you made it twice, you would put another tally there. Okay, if you did another 6 shots and made it 3 times, you would put a tally there, and so on. Okay, so you're going to collect your data, and then we're going to go ahead and go through and complete your statistics. Okay, so what was your best round of 6 shots? Did you make it in all 6 times at some point? So you can either do this on a basketball hoop, or you can just take a piece of paper and throw it into a garbage can or a bucket or a laundry basket or something like that to collect some data. Okay, and then go ahead and list your maximum and your minimum, okay, and find your median. To do that, you're going to actually have to write your numbers. Okay, so to give you an example, let's say that this is my data, my 10 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll say this. Okay, so my maximum isn't the one that appeared the most. My maximum best data is a 5, and my minimum is 1. Okay, so don't get confused by that. Okay, to find my median and things like that, I'm going to have to list my numbers. So I have a 1, I have a 2 that appeared 5 times, I have a 3 times, and I had a 5 1 time. So to find my median, I would go through like this. Okay, and I'm left with that. So my median is 2. My range is 5 minus 1, which is 4. My most common was the 2. Okay, or you can actually write none if there is no most common. If they tie, you can say something and something. All right, upper quartile. Okay, remember we need to find the median. So my median is here. Okay, and then I go ahead and look at my upper quartile. So we're cross off, cross off, cross off, cross off, and I end up with a 3 for my upper quartile. And we have cross off, cross off, cross off, cross off. I end up with a 2 for my lower quartile. What's my interquartile range? So we do our 3 minus 2 to get that range. And so my range is only 1 basket, so that's a pretty small interquartile range. What's the mean? We know we add those all up and divide by 10. And then what's my mean absolute deviation? Okay, and then we're going to use that data this time, though, to create a dot plot, not a box and whisker. So a dot plot is when you just look and say how many ones do you have. It's sort of like your tally chart that you already have. Just make sure things are on the same sort of floors, the same size, the same heights, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and that is your task today, and we can see what your dot plot looks like and interpret those results later. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, let me know.